Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the spooktacular, ooptacular, just the scariest time of the whole year. Welcome to the Nerd for No Reason podcast. I'm your host, Mark.
Ooh.
What is that?
Oh my gosh. Is that your spooky co-host, Raven?
Oh, it is.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Raven.
That was so crazy. Where'd she come from? We didn't even see her. It's like she was a ghost.
Ooh. What's up, man?
Not much. What's up with you? Happy beginning of Halloween. The whole month of October is Halloween. Let's be real.
Well, yeah. You know, where do you stand on Halloween being on the 31st instead of like the last Saturday of the month?
Oh, that's actually a good option.
Because I feel like it's too much of a pain,
Right?
to have it on the 31st because that falls on any old random day, and you know, you got to plan around a bunch of extracurricular activities or things that are going on. Like there's stuff coming up that, you know, if we go to one thing, then we're gonna miss
Lots of other
Halloween trick
things.
or treating.
Yeah.
So
that sucks. I can't
genuinely
imagine.
think it needs to be on the last weekend of the month. Say, cool, it's either going to be the last Friday, the last Saturday of the month, and we're off to the races.
It's so weird how we do that with like some holidays, but then some holidays we're just like, nope, this is it. We're not gonna even talk about it. This is it.
And this one, they can't like justify like, oh yes, the great tradition of Halloween. You know, it was actually October 31st. You know, back 1600 years ago. No, it wasn't. It's cool, man. Like, we just want to dress up, eat some candy, man.
Do some spooky things, carve a pumpkin. Maybe
I want to worship Satan.
egg your neighbor's house just for fun. Whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Do kids still do that?
I don't know if they still egg houses.
Let's be real. They probably do. And the only reason that I'm going to say that is because you see so many like TikToks and videos on the internet of people absolutely just like wasting food. They make like these disgusting, cringy meals and then they're like, it's so good. I always make this as a family tradition when we have blah, blah, blah. And you literally look at it and you go, if your family is eating this every fucking year, then like, I wouldn't trust any of your family for food critique. Like, I don't want to hear shit about anything that your family ever makes because I know it is absolute trash. 100%. But yeah, Thanksgiving's on a freaking Thursday this year. But like next year, Friday. That'll be cool. It'll give you like time to be like, oh, it's the end of the weekend. And then that Saturday morning, kids just binge out on candy. Living the dream. That's all I want. It's just to be a little kid that's like, whoa, Halloween is so cool. And now I'm an adult and I have to work on Halloween and then be like, yeah, I don't have time for parties or any of the fun things you guys get to do. So I'm going to have my lights out by 8. Dude, I put up candy last year and I think like 2 kids came by. Nobody freaking trick-or-treats in like apartments. Unless it's like apartment kids that live literally like within your little section of the apartment.
Dude, if I would 100%. If I lived in an apartment complex, I'd be the lone soldier out there going, all right, everybody, everyone dress up your little, you know, I don't know how your apartments are set up, but typically there's like, you know, the apartment block where there's like stairs in the middle and, you know, you got your apartments. I'd be like, all right, everyone dress up your block and we're going to do this. And the kids would just walk like, what place would be safer?
Right?
I don't get it.
That would be so fun. I mean, the apartments that Chris and I live in are technically like the biggest apartment complex in Knoxville. There's apparently like 700 or something apartments here. Like it's huge. And we have like two different like locations. Like one section of apartments is like a little bit down the street, like not even like half a mile, but it's crazy. And ours are set up like townhomes. So like it would kind of make sense for them to be like, okay, why not? But a lot of people like don't decorate for Halloween anyways. So I guess the kids are just like, screw it, we're going to go to all the rich neighborhoods, which I don't blame them. There's some nice neighborhoods here that I'm like, bro, if I was a kid, I'd be hitting them up. Does Amy still trick or treat?
Yes, but I think this is probably going to be our last year.
No. How dare you?
So, well,
Absolutely.
she's getting to be that age.
What do you mean that age? I think
You heard me.
kids should absolutely be able to do it. Screw it until like high school. They should be able to do it into high school. Let kids be kids. Then you graduate and you're like, wow, I got to go back to school and or else get like a job. And that's it. Let them have fun.
See, here's what I have to say about that. Normally, I would agree with you. Yes, let the kids go out and have fun. The problem is puberty.
Fair enough.
They turn into little trolls and just straight up just don't respect anything. Um, and yeah, and
I
usually about
guess.
10 is about that age where one they kind of get too cool for school and they're like, oh man, no, I can't do that, only babies trick or treat. Or they're, if they're like boys in particular, they're like, yeah, cool, we're gonna go be assholes. And I'm like, no, I don't want any of that.
Yes, because you gotta have neighborhood watches and have your freaking kids on a leash, essentially. Dude, that's
or
the only thing.
or they do the thing that really used to piss me off when I pass out candy is if you're gonna go trick or treating, put on a costume.
Dude, for real.
Put on a costume. Don't walk up to me in socks with Crocs and pajamas on with a pillowcase and go, "What's up, bro?" Nope, nope.
They gotta sell it to you. All
Right.
right, so what are you? Uh, what if they tell you they're like some famous YouTuber or TikToker? What are you gonna do? It's
I,
me,
I'd be like, hold on a
Wubby,
second, I gotta pull them up.
or like I don't know. I can't even think. What's what's the Germa guy? I don't know. Chris makes me watch a
Sure,
bunch,
my guy.
or like, look, we're Rhett and Link from Good Mythical
Uh,
Morning.
oh yeah.
I don't know. I'd
Well, there
probably be
better
like,
be
what are you
both
doing?
of y'all, and one better have like bouffant hair and look like uh uh dollar store Stephen Colbert, and the other one better.
All right, I'd probably be down with like a Rhett and Link little costume. I think it'd be cute. I could see it actually.
Yeah.
Or like old Smosh Ian and Anthony when they had like the bowl cuts and they wore the like stupid little graphic t-shirts and whatever and made the dumbest videos ever. I'd love it. But like you see so many now that I'm just like, they're just normal people. They don't do things. It's fine. It's whatever. Did you see? Oh my gosh. I think I sent it to you and it's been like a hot little minute since it happened, but that one guy, I cannot think of his name, but the guy that like would do the mukbangs and like eat a bunch of food
Oh
and
yeah.
then he like just lost so much weight. And it was like a year and a half or 2 years that he had just filmed enough videos and put them out and then was like, what up, guys? I'm skinny now.
Yeah.
Dude,
Which is fantastic, man. That's so great.
like that's kind of crazy to be like, whoa, how much did you have to film in order to put out? Because I don't know what his kind of content like posting is. I don't know if he's like a weekly, bi-weekly, whatever. But like that's intense to like think
Yeah.
about. But good for him. Yeah.
All right, so I got to bring this up because this week or last week, maybe the end of last week, I'm kind of not really sure on the release dates here. Um, okay, yeah, so last week, the new Zelda game dropped, and me and Chris have had some very varying predictions on this game. And I remember when they announced it, Chris was like, "Oh man, this is gonna be dumb." And I just want to say right now that according to Google, it's got like an 86% on Metacritic, 9.10 on IGN, and 9 out of 10 on Screen Rant. Apparently, people really like this game,
Oh.
but I will also concede that Chris was also kind of right when he was like, "How you're gonna solve a puzzle? Boop, I make a bed. Boop, I make a block. Boop, I make a little water thing." And that's apparently what people are doing to solve like 90% of the game's problems.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes you gotta bring
So,
that Minecraft bit in there. I don't know what my joke was. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. I'll let you slide on this one.
Fine.
It was way better than that other one you said before, like we hit record.
Oh, let's not talk about her.
But no, by all accounts, this game does look uh, really dope. I've listened to a lot of reviews on it, and people are really digging it. It really seems to be uh, a good game, but not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's coming off the heels of like probably two of the greatest video games ever made, and people were like, "No, it's fine. It's cool. Like we'll play it. We're good." It's like a standard Zelda game, top down, or what do they call it, 3/4 down Zelda game. And I will eventually play it at some point. So
Nice. Well,
right now,
when does it? Oh,
I'm looking forward to what in the world they're ever going to do on the Switch 2 to basically say, here's our successor to Breath of the Wild. Because I cannot think on how they can improve that. Well, I can think of a couple things, but this is the last one they said is like, "Oh, this is our last Breath of the Wild type game." And I'm like, no, seriously, just put a different map, man. Use the same mechanics. I'm good,
yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, those games are beautiful. So, like, I can't imagine how much work has to go into those. Could never be me.
there's no telling because it's they started working on Tears of the Kingdom right after Breath of the Wild came out, kind of concurrently, and it still took them 6-7 years to come out with a new
Dang.
game. So
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Well, you got anything else?
no, you ready to talk about this movie? Because boy, this movie,
Boy,
Raven.
oh boy. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts. Ugh.
All right, so this week we are hopping into spooky season with. I reached out to a guy I work with because shout out to Sam because he came to me last month and said, "What are some scary movies I can watch next month? I'm trying to do where I watch a different scary movie every day." And I said, "Oh, well, there's this and this." And we rattled off a whole bunch of movies. So I walked down there to him this week and said, "Hey, Sam, what is a good scary movie I can watch for the podcast?" And immediately he said, "Have you seen Hereditary?" And I said, "No." He said, "Watch that and come back and talk to me." I said, "Okay." And I said, "Raven, have you seen Hereditary?" And she goes, "Yes, have you?" Question mark. And then I was like, "Nope, that's what we're watching." And me and Chris were like, "Hooray." So go ahead, Raven.
So, Mark, tell me, please, Give me your thoughts on the 2018 movie, Hereditary.
All right, here we go. The first notes that I have, sight unseen in this movie, were "fuck you, let's get uncomfortable." Uh,
True.
no, this movie was dope. It was great. I loved it. It was scary in all the great ways. It was this great movie that was scary without a bunch of jump scares. Um, I love scary movies they uh, when they just kind of let the scene breathe and it's quiet and nothing's going on and you're waiting for the scary thing to happen, and that's scarier than the actual thing sometimes. Um, and it also does a lot with very little, and that is technically impressive to me. That we'll kind of touch on some of the stuff, but it has a great moments of like, what the hell am I watching? Along with some gore, some gory stuff, and it's something I would absolutely recommend. And I would really, at some point, love to hear Chris's thoughts on this movie as well. Raven, what did you think of Hereditary?
I just want to start out by saying Toni Collette 100% deserved her Oscar for this,
Yes.
specifically for that dinner scene. Good Lord. This movie, I watched it when it like first came out to DVD with my mom, and the two of us were like sitting at home in the dark, just like watching it. And after it ended, the two of us just like sat there, didn't say a single word, just didn't know what to like think or feel because you know, it makes you feel a little gross, a little creepy at some points. But rewatching it, I'm like, yo, this is a pretty good movie. There's a lot of like you said, like there's some just good like moments of just the anticipation of things. And then I love movies that do the like little thing where it's just like there's something in the background, and if you're not paying attention enough, you don't notice it. And those
Oh
are
boy.
those are some of my favorite things because I'm like, oop, what we got over there? What's that? What's this? Did you see that? That was great. Acting in this is just phenomenal. I genuinely felt so terrible for Alex Wolf the entire time of him just being like, I don't understand what's going on. My mom hates me, and it's all my fault that I killed my sister.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, uh, let's go ahead and just dive into it.
Okay. Um, this was why. All right, this whole movie was wild to me because we get to, man. All right, if for some reason you're one of those people that is listening to this podcast and you haven't seen this movie, spoilers. Like, it's what, 8 years old now?
Yeah.
More, is that right? Yeah,
Uh,
8 years old.
yeah.
If you ain't seen it by now, too bad. Uh, I thought for sure that this is going to be like child gets possessed, child goes around killing everybody, because the posters for this thing make it seem, I've not seen a trailer for this, so I don't know what the trailer holds, but the posters for this make it seem like this kid is about to go around killing everybody. Um, what's her name?
Oh, the girl.
Uh, yeah,
Emily? No, Millie.
Millie Shapiro. Yeah, I thought for sure that she was going to be the one to get possessed and go around killing everybody. And oh boy, just I feel like I got baited and switched in the wildest, absolute
Uh,
wildest way possible. Uh,
what did you know about this movie before watching it? Did you know about the
absolutely
car scene?
nothing.
Oh,
I
okay.
went in completely blind to this movie.
Beautiful.
Um, Yeah. Oh no, my notes are it's like the scribblings of a madman. So, um, yeah, it's just it's this movie is filled with one insanely tense scene after another. So much so that by the time we get to uh where we start figuring out the cult stuff, or we have a little bit of levity when Joan shows up and she's like, "Oh man, like here's a sweet thing or whatever." You're like, "Whew, boy, all right, cool. I needed this. I needed a break. I needed something normal and light to happen that isn't people losing their mind or being sad or being scared or something, you
Yeah.
know." So,
Uh, that funeral, solid. Man, that's how I want to be described, as just being like, yeah, she's very secretive, didn't like us talking about her. Uh, I don't really think my mom liked me. Like the the
oh,
whole
too
speech
bad. Nope.
she was
I'm
giving.
gonna give you like, oh, she was such a caring woman and loved Jesus and just I'm I'm gonna get up there and just talk for an hour on just bullshit at your funeral.
Just go ahead. That's fine. I'm I'm just gonna have
It's a
Chris.
shame that she was killed by a semi truck that was driven by the Hulk. It is crazy.
I'm just gonna have Chris play the clip from this movie and just be like, this is all she really wanted. Anyways, thanks.
You know what's going to be so funny about that is that I'll get it, Chris will get it, I'm sure some of our other friends will get it,
Oh yeah.
but at the same time, I could just see someone, like the older people in the room, just being like,
What? What's
"This
happening?
is so. I don't understand why Chris would do that. This is
He
horrible.
clearly
He must
hated
not have
her.
really loved her."
Uh,
So, uh, so I want to talk real quick about the cinematography in this movie because it
beautiful,
is absolutely incredible.
right?
My favorite parts of this movie um, are in the opening scene is this too, where or the opening shot is where it goes from you're in this room and the camera turns and it zooms into one of the dioramas and it's one continuous shot and then flawlessly the dad walks in and wakes his son up. He's like, "Get up and come on." And, and I'm like, holy crap, that was a great shot. And then there's another scene where she's at the little group therapy thing where that camera just slowly comes from
Oh,
outside of the
oh,
group and zooms in on her as she's talking about her mom and her dad. And I'm just like, what in the hell is this? This is great. And
yeah,
fantastic
yeah.
cinematography.
Those were absolutely beautiful. Also, I guess I've never thought about the fact of like the people that do make those super intense dioramas. Like, that's crazy to me that she, like, just the detail of everything that she was doing, that it could just focus that hard. Like, like you have so much like love and passion for something like that that it looks like identical. I don't know. It was crazy. But yeah, no, these shots, my God, these shots, they were beautiful. And that's definitely a big part of like what makes this movie is because it's got like the perfect angling, the perfect lighting, and like all that stuff to really just create a very cohesive thing that makes it even more scary because you're like, I don't know what's real and what's not anymore. This is just weird. This is crazy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, so let's get into the part. So, as a dad, as the father of two girls, um, where when the mom is like, "Oh, you're gonna take your sister to the party," and I am shocked and amazed that the boy was not like, no, she don't need to go. And
Yeah.
he was just like, okay, it's cool. I'll have her run around and do stuff. And, while I'm clearly leave her alone and go in this other room and smoke weed with this girl I want to hook up with. Um, uh, and that is legitimately my worst fear of like, here, take your sister with you. And then they go, and then Alice just kind of ditches Amy at the party, and Amy's just kind of left to wander around. But I know Amy, that she will absolutely go and be like, you're my best friend now.
Yeah. Well, that's like the difference in your kids versus like that girl was obviously like she didn't want to go. She
Right.
was like, I just want to stay home and do my weird little creations and not have to be around people. Um, yeah, that whole scene, like the fact that he's like, look, cake, and she's like, I can't have it. He's like, it's for everyone. She's like, oh, okay. And also that scene is like, in a way, it's just like so sad that she's just like, okay, fine, I guess I'll just be by myself. And then she starts going into anaphylactic shock. And obviously, she's never had like an extreme reaction because the fact that she's literally just like eating the cake and she's like, something's a little weird. I can't really tell until the point
Right.
that she's literally like wheezing in front of her brother and he's like, what the hell is happening? Oh, that car scene though. Man, oh man, that car scene.
Oh, man. So, because I didn't know what was going to happen, uh, hold on. Here is how my notes read.
Oh God.
Um, uh, um, let's see. I feel bad for Charlie. This is my legit fear as a parent. Okay. Um, and then I'm typing. I'm typing my notes out as she's in the back of the car, like
Oh.
writhing around. Okay. And my notes read like this: this shit is, in all caps, what the fuck? Followed by like 10 exclamation points. And then I wrote, again, she hit a fucking pole. Holy shit. Followed by like 10 exclamation points. Um, and this is some of the absolute best acted stuff where
Yeah.
he just stops and you could tell that he's in shock and he's just like, he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is so wild, and I can't even imagine seeing this in the theater. Like, this is so heavy for me.
Right?
And he goes home, and then we cut to the, essentially when the mom finds the body in the car. And then we cut to the shot of the fucking head getting ate up by ants. And I wrote again in my notes, did we really need a shot of the head getting ate up by the ants?
Yeah, of course.
Apparently we did.
Yeah. Yeah, no, seeing how this poor child just has to, like, he is driving so fast, and then the moment he realizes what happens, and he just stops. And, oh my God, I cannot imagine, like, ever having to feel that type of way. I hope to never have to feel that type of way. But the reaction that he does is so justifiable. And I'm sure like some people are like, I can't believe you didn't like call the police and blah blah blah. But it's like the absolute shock and like state of just like what just happened. I don't know what to do. Maybe I need to lie down is like so understandable in like its own fucked up little way.
Yeah.
And then his mom makes a diorama of it.
Dude.
Dude,
All right. So
man
I
oh man.
put, again, I put in my notes, where do we go from here? We have another 45 minutes, or we're 45 minutes in and we still have another hour and a half. because I was like, oh, again, I thought the kid was going to be the main antagonist of this whole film, and now she's dead. And I also have to bring up, you know, we seem to have a running theme here for the last month and a half. Poor, what's his name?
Charlie.
Ryan? No, not Charlie. Is it
Peter.
Steven.
Peter.
I thought Peter was the boy.
Wait, who are you? Oh, the husband? Yes.
Steve.
Okay.
The dad. Yes. Yeah. So poor Steve, because Steve is trying his best. Okay. He is absolutely just kind of like, there's all this wild shit going on around him. He's getting a phone call from the cemetery going, hey, your mother-in-law's grave was dug up. And he's like, what the fuck do you mean? And then like his kid died and his wife's losing his mind and his son's losing his mind. And then his wife shows up and is like, let's do a seance. And he's like, bitch, be quiet.
Right?
This poor dude.
This man thinks that he is the only sane person here. But let's be real. This man is also going through, like, I can't imagine the headspace that he has to be in to be like, my wife is literally driving my son actually crazy. He's doing things to himself. He's not himself. My wife is trying to have seances, and there's weird paranormal things happening. And my daughter is dead, and there's, like, dude, and I get it. At some point, he's probably like, I hate my wife at this point. I love her so much, but she is like, she's the issue. And that, like,
Yeah.
whole scene where with the attic, and they're like, he's just like, I don't know what to do anymore. And I don't know if it's you because you're crazy and you're the person that's desecrating your mother's grave and whatever, but if I just throw this stupid little book in the fire, then maybe you'll just shut the fuck up. And then we know where that goes. So,
Right.
but
Poor dude.
yeah, I absolutely felt, oh my God. Poor Peter. The whole time. Kid, obviously would have a lot of trauma for the car accident to then, like, obviously fall into some form of, like, depression. No one is paying attention to him in any way, not even the school. Like, I'm sure that kid's grades were, like, absolute trash. That kid was not doing shit. He was literally just zoned out the entire time. His family wasn't really paying attention until he has that whole, like, weird moment where he gets, like, possessed in class, and everyone's like, what the fuck is happening? And then he breaks his, like, fucking nose, and then he's screaming. And everyone's just like, oh, are we supposed to watch out for that guy? Or
Right.
But yeah, no, the whole scene at the dinner table. Let's talk about that because it's so incredible. And like I already said, Toni Collette getting her Oscar for it was 100% well deserved.
I don't think she got an Oscar for this movie.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure she got it for The Sixth Sense.
I'm gonna kill myself if I'm wrong. I'm not.
Okay, just make sure you pour paint thinner on yourself.
I got it.
Set it on fire. Okay, so she was nominated.
Did she not get it?
For an Academy Award in The Sixth Sense.
How?
She won the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films for Best Actress. It was a Saturn Award for Best Actress.
I feel like Chris and I were talking about this. Maybe I'm not. She should have. You know what? I'm upset now.
That's right. Say it with your whole chest. It's okay.
I'm so upset. That woman gave her everything in that scene. And she went the fuck off on her kid. It was like, shut the fuck up, you little shit. Don't you ever fucking talk to me like that. And I was like, yeah, you get him. Absolutely get him. And then he's over there trying to snap back. And the whole time, the husband's just like, I, I, I don't even know anymore. I just tried to make dinner for my family. No one can appreciate me. At least my son said it was good. It's,
Well, it
oh,
was it was wild. This scene is wild because it's um after they get done yelling at each other, they get to yell at each other, and then she just sits back down like, "Yeah, we're just gonna sit here and eat our meal."
right.
And I'm like, "No, that's not how that works in any shape, form, or fashion in this dimly lit dining room." Uh,
Dude, her husband's probably like, this is probably what like Sunday dinner was in just her family. Because like she said that her mom had like uh DID, her dad and her brother were schizophrenic, and like
mm-hmm.
all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot imagine living in that household and just like how dinners would have gone. So there's obviously like a lot of trauma already there for this poor woman. And that time where she goes to the freaking the like group therapy session and she just starts spilling it out and everyone literally was just like sitting there like, please stop.
Yo, when she starts talking to Joan, all
Oof.
right, when she meets Joan and they go back to the house for tea, and um and Toni Collette is telling the story about how she used to sleepwalk and how
Yeah.
she almost killed
Oh,
her kids, you would not have been able to drag that story out of me with the FBI and a Ford F-150. That I never would have told anybody that story. I would have kept that shit bottled up. It would have given me cancer before I said anything.
dude. And Joan was just like, puts her hand on her and just like, wow, you're going through it, huh, babe?
Right.
Like if someone had told me that, I'd be like, hey, can you leave? I don't think we should see each other anymore. She was just so normal about it.
Right. And
Absolutely not.
I didn't really think anything was up with Joan until we saw her in the parking lot, like right as she was doing the seance
She's
pitch.
doing like this crazy conspiracy vibe, and Homegirl is
It's
literally like trying to laugh in her face, and she's like, no, 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 no. I know that you think it's crazy. And it's like, yeah, of course you're going to sound crazy because you're like, I talked to my grandson and he's dead. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
mm-hmm.
Totally normal.
uh, but that scene in the parking lot with the seance pitch is incredibly acted. This both of these
Hmm.
women acting like this whole movie is just filled with great acting performances. But uh, this one I really dug because I've seen people act this way in real life,
Hmm.
where they're trying to
Yeah.
explain something that they wholeheartedly believe in, and the other person's like, "Yeah, whatever," and then they keep like, if you notice, she keeps grabbing her like,
Yes.
"Look at me." It was it wasn't like too aggressive, but it was just aggressive enough where I was like, I know people like that. Like, no, listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um, and then because I don't know anything from anything, I was like, holy shit, we're at a seance. I thought we'd get to break into action, but nope. And I was like, Joan is doing the seance? How is she qualified to be doing seances?
Huh. Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
right. So, um, I was surprised that the chalkboard didn't write anything like scary. That it said,
I
I love
love
you,
you,
Grandma.
Grandma.
That it wasn't death, murder, kill, kill, kill. You know,
The cup moving, and like Tony Collette like looks under the table and then looks back up and is like, what is happening here? I don't know what's happening. And she tries to rush out and she's like, nope, I can't do this anymore. And Joan's just like, hey, Grandma will be right back. Hold on, sweetie.
right?
Like she's on a phone call.
Yeah,
Yeah, no. I I would have taken that candle and just like trucked that thing in the trash and been like, nope. Something ain't right here. I don't need to do this anymore.
So
Goodbye,
now we
Joan.
need to get into one of my big problems with this movie.
Oh.
Is from this point on, they start making white people mistakes. So they saw this, and instead of going, nope, I need to leave, they're like, man, I need to have a seance. And they give them very explicit rules, which I guess they do follow, but usually they don't. But they're
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm going to clear out everything in my room, or everything in my living room, and I'm going to do a seance. And later on, as they're running through the house, they're like, let me run upstairs instead of running out of the door.
Dude, for real. Into
You
the
know, like
attic.
there's a,
No.
right. And there's a bunch of stuff that they do where I'm just like, y'all making
Yeah.
white people mistakes.
Yeah. God, this, like, once that seance happens, things just fly through. And it's a bunch
Oh,
of
yeah.
crazy, but it's just back to back crazy. And it's like, when do I get a breath of air?
Yeah,
Don't.
it pretty much picks up from there on. And again, Steven, I love this man. He's such a he's trying his best, and I love it. Again, my notes, direct quote from my notes. Um uh when when Toni Collette wakes up her husband in the middle of the night to go do a séance, and the husband is just mad as shit.
Of course.
And I was thinking, like, man, if I had just lost a kid and Kelly wakes me up in the middle of the night and I go in my living room and everything's fucking moved, like, we're going to do a seance, I'd be like, bitch, get out of my house. Like, I understand it. I get why the dad is so pissed off, because this is just absurd upon absurd upon absurd.
Yeah.
Um,
But then also, like, he's like, not only are you being crazy, you're literally, like, somehow influencing our son to have, like, these weird things, and he's seeing things in school, and this is definitely all your fault. He is not having her shit. He is so fucking over it. And how did you even stay, sir? If I were you, I would have taken my son and just, like, gone to, like, a hotel or something and been like, you know what? Mom needs some fucking time. And you
yep.
need some time in therapy. Thank you. That kid definitely needed therapy. Oh my God.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely. That would have been the first thing that happened. Would have been like funeral therapy, like same day.
Right? Right.
Um,
Uh,
during the seance scene in the main house where they're trying to get a hold of Charlie, I was watching this on my computer with my headphones on. And I guess whoever the sound person was for this movie thought it was a good idea to put the dog barking in the background.
mhm.
And I thought it was my dogs barking in the
Oh,
backyard. And the scene got done. I was like, damn it, man, I wish these dogs would shut up. And it got done, and I was like, fine, let me go get these dumb dogs in so they'll stop barking. I hit the pause button, and I'm like, wait a second. And I go back like 10 seconds, and I hit the button again, and I hear the dogs barking, and then I hit stop it, and they stop. I'm like, son of a bitch. my dogs are just sitting on the back porch sleeping.
your
So,
dogs are being good dogs. Don't get
yeah, they
mad at
were.
them. Oh,
So, I was also really kind of, I don't know if we could say concerned, but I was like, what is going to be the end of this movie? Like, what's going to be our thing that says, cool, we're done with this movie? And this was, I think, before we discovered that it was a cult and we were talking about possession. But I was like, is it Annie dying? Is it the mom dying? Is it the brother dying? Is it the dad dying? What is it going to take for them to, or, you know, that's going to be our resolution for this movie? And then once we saw that Joan was in fact on some bullshit and they started breaking out the photo albums and all this, I was like, oh no, this is a possession movie. This is going to be wild.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Once, like, you can see when Toni Collette, like, does the little, like, possession thing. When she becomes possessed by whoever the fuck spirit it is. Like, that instant change in her. And it's creepy. Like, if I saw someone do that, I'd be like, no, I don't think you're sick. I think I need to leave you. Goodbye. Uh, yeah. She was crawling all over the walls at one point. She was just hiding up in like the little corner bits. And that one scene where you think that he's going to turn around and be like, oh, there's mom. There's just some naked guy standing over there.
right,
And then it
right.
flashes back and she runs out of that corner. Oh my God. It was so good.
That was great. And I was like, who's the naked dude? Is that the
Right?
dad?
Exactly. You're like,
Like,
what is happening
but
here?
he's burned up. What's going on?
Oh no, it's
And
his
then,
ghost.
and then he goes upstairs. White people shit. Goes upstairs
Mm-hmm.
and shuts the door. And everyone's like, and then there's like three naked old people in the corner, and I'm like, where did you find three old people that were willing to get butt ass naked? Like I want to know
He went
what
to a
casting
new
office you
beach.
called.
Duh.
Yeah.
That's the best place to go for him.
um, but I didn't even notice that. Like, I didn't notice that she was on the ceiling
Ah,
at first. Because
yeah.
I saw it, because the way it goes is like he walks into frame and she's back there, and then
There's that little
it
creek.
shows him. Yeah, it shows him looking at the thing, and then you hear the creak, and you see it behind him, and you're like, "Oh, was she there the whole time?" And I rewound it again, and I saw it. I was like, "Oh man, this movie's brilliant." Yeah, but there was never like the loud music sting, or like the "Brr" or something
Yeah.
where it's that where it scares you. It's just like he takes off running, and she's right behind him, and I'm like, "Ooh, that was so scary." Um, and then she cuts her fucking head off, dude.
Yeah. He's like in there. Can you imagine? You lock your mom out. First of all, she's upside down, banging her head on the door. And he's just like, Mom, please stop. Looks up. There's naked people. There's flies everywhere. What is happening? And then you hear a noise and you look up and you're like, how did you, one, get up there? Two, how, what's happening here? What's happening here? I cannot imagine. So when he jumps out of that window, 100% agree with you, buddy. Just go for it. What's worse, staying there or just jumping and potentially dying?
Right.
It's a no from me. But the
Yep.
way that they did the like little spirit thing too, where it was like
That
that
was
little
cool.
glow and then it goes down into him and he wakes up, watches his mom's body just float up into the treehouse, headless, of course. And he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna follow that. Naked people in the woods? Sure. I'm gonna just go up. Naked people bent down in front of me as I walk in? Okay.
Hmm.
Like everything was just normal. It's just a classic Tuesday for him. But
Hmm.
that end scene in the treehouse, and you're just like, oh, so it's like a weird cult thingy, but they're all in the spirit hood and whatnots and all that stuff, and you're just like, how on earth?
It was Satan all along.
Oh, Satan.
Ah, man.
Yeah, yeah, that
That
movie,
was that was weird.
it did it. It did a God, it really is so good. The first time watching it definitely like made me feel some type of way that I was like, I don't think I ever want to watch this again. And then I watched fucking Midsommar when it came out, literally in the theater. It was just like me, Chris, and my aunt. Like there was no one else in there. And so, of course, we're just like, what the fuck the whole time during that movie. But yeah, and that movie also made me feel disgusting and like I needed to shower afterwards. But the director of these movies are just phenomenal. They give you that like sense, and that's exactly what they're going for. And somehow it still makes me really enjoy it. But yeah, that's that. I don't even know what else to
I
say
don't even
about
know how.
this
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
because it's just so good.
It's got a little bit of everything, and that's what kind of makes it so good to
Mm-hmm.
me. Anyway,
Yeah.
is that it has enough gore where it's not like super overt. It's got enough tension to where you don't lose the tension. It's it's really good. It's really good. The characters are good. Toni Collette and um, Millie Shapiro and Alex Wolff are all just fantastic. It's great. I think I will probably watch it again at some point, but I need a break from heavy movies, so we need to find like a goofy horror movie for next week or something not as heavy as this. Like we don't need to watch like Midsummer or something.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I think you would probably just rip out your hair at that point. So fair enough.
All right, well, let's move on to my favorite part of every week where we get to talk about the things that made us happy this previous week. Raven, why don't you start us off and tell me what has made you happy this week?
It was a pretty like normal week. I was off Friday and I didn't know that Chris was going to be off this weekend. So he was like, "Oh, okay. Um, what time should you be off on Thursday?" And I was like, I think I should be off at around like 5 o'clock. Dude, it was one of those days where, of course, nothing wanted to work out. And so I ended up getting home at like 7 p.m. And he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I had seen that he like built our little, I've got a big sectional couch. And we had always talked about like where you see that people make like pillow forts and whatever in their living room to like watch movies or whatever. So he did something like that. And I was like, "Oh, this is fun." And he put little lights up under it with little bats. And so it was cute. And he had on my favorite horror movie, which is also like his favorite horror movie because yours truly has brought him into the light that horror movies are good. So we, like, after I got like all cleaned up and whatever, we sat down on the floor and ate Moe's, uh, and watched Scream. And it was just like such a nice little time. And if you'll open your phone, I sent you a photo, but I'm waiting.
Oh,
So now I no longer have a boyfriend. I'm now engaged and have a fiance. So yeah, that's
hooray!
so yeah, it's
Awesome.
been a crazy past few days that I'm just like, What?" And so I keep like being like, "Oh, boyfriend," and then he'll be like, "Ha ha ha, fiance," and I'm just like, "What?" But I am. He picked the ring out himself, and I'm so in love with it. It's so sparkly, which is like something that I've always been like super in love with whenever I look at anyone's like engagement rings. Is like those super like they look like little disco balls on your finger, and that's what he got me, and so I love it. And it was just a nice little time. But yeah, that's what has made me probably the happiest that I have been, and quite a bit. But yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, you know what? Before we move on,
Yes.
okay. First off, I want to know why I'm just now finding out about this right now.
Because your brother and I were like, let's tell him on the podcast. That should be fun.
Okay. Second of all, I want to know why he wasn't like, hey man, listen, I'm thinking about proposing to Raven. Hey man, nothing, nothing, no text, no nothing, you know.
Dude, he kept it super like under wraps. Like I think he showed the ring to my grandparents and then to his mom, and that was that. Like he did not tell like anyone else and was just like, this is the ring that I got her. And apparently, like when he showed it to my grandparents, God bless him. So my grandmother was like, "Oh, it's so cute." And my grandfather, who is not like his basic reaction was just like, "Oh, nice." And that's my grandfather to like a T. Like he will do absolutely anything for me, but when he's like trying to explain or like, have that like joyous moment, he's just like, "Oh, okay, what's up?" But of course, we like called his mom the next day and we called your dad and your stepmom and we like told them, we were like, don't say anything to Mark because we're gonna tell him and it's gonna be fun and all this jazz. And so yeah.
Okay, because I was about to ask if if they knew,
Yeah, no,
because I
they
talked I
just
talked to
found
my
out.
dad yesterday, and he was like, I got a couple things to tell you, and I'm like, what's up? And he mentioned something that was going on today, like a barbecue or something,
Oh.
and that was the only thing he mentioned, and I was like, maybe there's more, but I was in the middle of like work,
Yeah.
so I wasn't gonna press it too much. So all right, so in that case, here's what we're gonna do before I go to my thing. Um, can I tell the girls?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna call them in here and then show them the picture.
Do it.
Okay. Hey, man, this is incredible.
Thanks. Yeah, Yvette was on the
I'm
phone with her mom and she was like, oh my God. And so she was like, send me the picture so I can send it to mom.
word. That's awesome.
Yeah. We had to like FaceTime. I kept trying to FaceTime Jane, but I guess it just wasn't like connecting properly. So I then was like, oh, let me try Chad. And then I was like, oh, I don't have Chad's number. I hope Chad has my number or at least can understand like, hey, you just tried to FaceTime mom. So we like talked to her and the way that we did it for the both like Jane and Danny was so funny because I have this little like I went pottery painting like a few weeks ago and I held it up and I was like, look at this cute little like calico cat that I painted. And as I turn it, I'm like, ring out. And they were both like, what is that? So I've been having a lot of fun with like telling people. And it's just, ha.
I got a bone to pick with you two. We're doing it on the podcast. Okay, good. All right. So I got to show you this picture that I just got, and I want y'all to tell me, Sasha. Put. Okay.
Good girl.
Look at this picture she sent me. I need to get your honest reactions. Okay. We have one with the mouth agape. What? What? Tell me.
Aww.
Amy, what does that mean?
He's married.
Well, not yet.
Finally. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, they got engaged.
Yay!
All right. Go and get on out of here. Shut the door. I'll be out there in a minute.
Break my fit.
All right. Yeah, cool. You look like me. Are you wearing my jeans?
Yep.
Take my jeans off.
Are you wearing my jeans? Ah! Which one?
Alice, she's going to a party tonight. She's like, it's 2000 themed. And I'm like, okay.
Sit up.
And she just went, she's wearing like one of my old jerseys and a pair of my jeans.
Oh, that's so good.
Jesus.
Ah.
It's over there. Hey, do you want to talk to Raven?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Come on, Sasha.
That's
All
fine.
Come on, Logan.
All right. So there we go.
Bless.
All right. Man, mine's nowhere near as exciting as that for the week.
What? No, I'm sure it's great.
So, this week Alice had a chorus concert that was actually pretty entertaining. It's always great seeing my kids go out there and do the things that they work so hard for. She's gearing up to start doing play stuff, so that's pretty cool. And Amy has been really killing it in school. We've kind of modified how we study for stuff, but man, she's doing great, man. She's bringing home A's and stuff, and
Ooh.
I just couldn't be more happy.
Nice,
So that's
yeah.
great. That's what has made me happy this week. That and World of Warcraft is still fun. I'm still enjoying playing it. Inexplicably, I thought for sure I'd be burnt out on it, and I'm just like, I have to make a concerted effort to put the controller down or to put the mouse down and go to bed. So yeah,
It'd be like that sometimes. That's how I used to
Sometimes it
be
do.
with Animal Crossing. I got deep into Animal Crossing because of COVID, man. And it stayed. Like, some people definitely like fell off of it, and I was like, nope, I'm still here. Like every day.
Dude,
It was bad.
I've been trying to get back into it, and Amy can't find the game. It's
Oh.
somewhere. It's somewhere at her mom's house, and I can't get her to be like, go find it. She's like, I know where it is. I'm like, no, you don't.
Right?
So-
Yeah. Bless her.
All right, Raven, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on the social medias?
I hang out on Twitter at spooky_Raven or on Instagram at That's So Raven Ellis. You can also find this cute little podcast on whatever you like at Nerd for No Reason. We hang out there. Don't even ask what socials it is. We just hang out there. What about you, Mark?
So you can find me just about everywhere at Turtles Do It. I'm taking a break from Twitter right now. I uninstalled it from my phone because I was genuinely just getting kind of frustrated with the whole Twitter experience. And yeah. So mainly Instagram. If you want to hit me up somewhere, is probably the best place to do it. Yeah, thanks everybody for listening. It's been, man, I'm still kind of caught up in the fact that you guys are engaged now.
Aw.
That's so wild to me.
Only took 7 years, you know.
Yeah, well, we have a tendency to wait. I think that's just a Holland thing. So, man, with all that being said, man, y'all go and do something wonderful in the world this week.
You guys go enjoy all the coolest, newest medias around, and we'll see you again next week on the Nerd for No Reason podcast. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Nerd for No Reason podcast. You can find us on all major social media platforms at Nerd for No Reason. Our podcast music is Memories in 8-Bit by Deanna Joan, aka Fergie's Human. You can follow her on Twitter at Deanna Joan Music and check out her other social media links in the show notes of our podcast.